Hi, I'm Brett. I'm here with Kayla, and we are bringing you Fenceline Conversations. The name of the podcast kind of came from, if you've ever watched Home Improvement, where Wilson and Tim went to their backyard fence, and Wilson dispensed a bunch of wisdom. Neither one of us are very wise, but the people that we talk to really are. And so this is our second podcast, and the lady you're going to meet today is no exception to someone who deserves to be on here, because we're trying to take people that have gone through something and stayed with it. And there's a lot of times, if you think about that, when you are in the middle of something, it's like that's the worst part of it. It's like everything's against you, and you're like, I'm ready to quit. Do something else. And the people that we have on here, including our guest today, is someone who has stayed with it, seen it through the other side, and now they're reaping those benefits. And so if we could bring you some hope and maybe some ideas and something that they've done or said on these interviews that help you in any way, then we pretty much fulfilled our calling here to be able to put this out there. What do you think of this one, Kayla?
I loved it. One of the things that really stuck with me was just connections, community, connections, networking. She's in real estate, so it's important for that business, but she also talked about it in other parts of her life, and of course legacy and other things, but that's the thing that really stuck with me the most, I think, out of this one.
Sure. First 3 or 4 of these we recorded were actually done at her ranch, because I took advantage of the group of people that were down there that were all people that were on my list. So we were actually at a horsemanship clinic, and she talks about her horses too. And I'll tell you, I can relate horses to my life in so many different ways. Yeah. Like any animal, working with a horse, working with a dog, trying to get that dog, cow, or horse to do what you want it to do without forcing it, man. And she's pretty good at it. So I don't know if you have anything else. If you don't, we'll get right to it and let you guys meet our guest for today.
Yeah, I think let's get into it.
All right. So I'm sitting here with Deitra Robertson. And Deitra, I would say, is a dear friend of mine.
And you're a dear friend of mine.
Because we met in 2020, I think.
That's right.
So 6 years. And we met. You're hosting a Martin Black clinic down here. And you're the reason I came, because I called. I had talked with Martin, I think we had emailed back and forth. And he was in Florida, and I was having trouble with a horse, and he said, I'll just bring it down here. And I'm like, man, I ain't coming to Florida. That's way too far.
Right.
And so he said, well, call you. We're closer to me, so I called you. And I didn't know idea like how you were connected. And you were just like, oh, come on down, you'll fit in just fine. And I was like, you don't even know me, but that's your kind of your character and your personality. You're very hospitable. I've learned more hospitality from you than probably anyone. You and Bill, Bill, you guys just, it doesn't really matter what needs to be done. You just pick it up and do it. And I had never been around that before. I don't know, is that a Texas thing?
I don't know if it's a Texas thing or what. I'm not really aware, maybe, or really trying to make that happen. It just happens. I mean, it's about helping people, bringing people together. And as far as the Martin Black Clinic, my absolute goal from the beginning, since I got into this type of horsemanship, if we use an overused word, but was to try to make one more horse's life better. So I felt like if we could get people to come together under Martin, and they left and drove out of my gate better than they got there, and their horse was better, then that might start a ripple effect, because they would tell someone, or they would come back with another horse, and it would just, and look at it. I mean, it's like we threw a rock in a pond, and we have all these ripples, and we have an amazing group of people, right?
For sure.
That are our friends and our horse community, but basically we've just all become such great friends. And
Absolutely.
We're all here because of one common denominator, Brett, and that's the horse.
Yep, I agree, 100%. How'd you meet Martin? I mean, how'd you get hooked up with him to start with?
Actually, I had a horse friend in Denton, Texas, that had him come to his farm, and I met him there maybe 20 years ago, and he would give clinics at this person's facility, and we would haul our horses up there, Bill and I would, and we would take some of Bill's students as well at different times, and we would work with Martin. And then I started going to Martin's ranch in Idaho, and then just started hosting these clinics. I think this is maybe the 13th or 14th year that we've done clinics in Texas with Martin.
Wow. So Bill trained or had students in, like, for mostly jumping horses, is that right? Because
He did, right? Uh-huh.
He rode in the Olympics back in the day.
He rode for the United States equestrian team on the show jumping team, the Olympic show jumping team, and he was just a brilliant horseman. But he loved exploring. You know, of course, that was a very structured way of and very disciplined riding at Gladstone under Burt Dinamithie back when Bill was young and riding for the team. And then when we both discovered Ray Hunt when we lived in Colorado, that changed our world. After Bill had been doing this very high level horsemanship and we went to our first Ray Hunt clinic, he said, you know what? I finally learned how to put a halter on properly. And that's really true. It just changed our world. And so that's how, I mean, we did some different clinics with different people, and when we found Martin, it just was such a click. And I love how open Martin is to always testing new ideas and so forth, but his experience and the generations of what he has lived and done is just, it's so kind of him to share it with us.
Yeah.
And give us an opportunity to go out to his ranch and even experience some of what has been his life, and it helps us all with everything.
Well, and I think I'll just say this on behalf of everybody here. I think that we really appreciate you putting this on, because I personally know how much it takes beforehand to get everything ready, and while everyone's here, I mean, all of a sudden you've got 20 people at your house, and you live alone for the most part now, and that's and then you get the after to clean up all that stuff.
That's right. But I have great help. I have a wonderful tribe, you know, with Jamie and Tate next door, and then David flies in from Maine a day before the clinic, always to help me, and he just does an amazing job for me. So
for sure.
Anyway, and then you get here and you bring cinnamon rolls and sourdough bread, and so life is good.
Yeah. So you built a house a year ago, 2 years ago now?
Actually, we moved into our new house, Bill and I did, a year ago last week, a week before the clinic last year.
Okay.
And we had lived here in this apartment for 6 weeks with 4 dogs in 400 square feet while the house was being finished. And it was just a blessing, because Bill was able to enjoy our new house for a month before he died, and he loved it. And that just made me really, really happy that we got in there when we did. So it was great.
That's so you inspired me. So my wife and I
love that.
Yeah, we're looking at building, because we came down and we saw your house, and I just fell in love with it. I was like, man, this is nice.
I love it.
And this having everything, to me, what's wisdom about that, and what I took away from that is, I don't have all the plumbing issues and all the, the old house stuff that you have to deal with on an old house. Being a homeowner is great until something breaks, and then you have to fix it.
Well, as you know, I came from that. I came from an 1800s house that had been remodeled and retrofitted, and every winter dealing with, because it was on pier and beam, and dealing with pipes and all of that. It is so nice to have a new construction. Yeah, it's great.
What's the best thing? What do you like the best about your house? I mean, I know you moved to be here, but do you like the place better? You like
I love the place better. I love the location. But what I love about my house is it's exactly what I want. The absolutely only thing I would change is my kitchen faucet, which I will change.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing I would change. It's small. It's open, it flows. I came from a lot of square footage, not huge, but way more of a footprint than Bill and I used. And this is the perfect size. It's just,
Sure.
it's so easy.
Sure. Yeah, I'm impressed. Another thing I've noticed down here, and this may be a Texas thing, I don't know, but the first year we came here, the house wasn't here yet, or maybe it had been started, I don't know. It was pretty rough looking around here. I mean, your fences weren't established yet, of course. I mean, it's a new place. You just bought a new open plot.
Right. It's clean slate.
Yeah, but the grass was it didn't look very good, I'll say that. And now, I guess you guys you mow your pastures all the time?
I mow my pastures all the time for weed control.
Okay, so you're not using chemical?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, but I think that keeping that height to whatever height you're doing there, 6 inches or whatever, on that mow height, I think that really has brought some more grass in there for you.
Well, what's brought some more grass is we finally got rain.
Oh, is
so
that
we
it?
went over 6 months last summer and into the fall with no rain.
Sure.
And it was just a real drought here.
Yeah.
And that just is very depressing.
Well,
so we've had 2 good rains in the last 2 months, and that just made the grass pop at the right time. And I'm just hoping that we get more rain throughout the summer.
Sure.
Because it gets rough otherwise.
Well, not being here every day, I know when you see it every day, you maybe not notice it. Not being here but once a year, it really looks different. I mean, it really looks good when you drive, and you can just tell that it's being taken care of or managed correctly, if that's a good thing to say. Been in real estate for a long time. Mm-hmm. Kind of the idea behind this podcast is to put an idea out there, maybe that someone hadn't thought of.
Okay.
So, just tell me in your words, I guess, why would someone need a realtor?
So I specialize in farm and ranch and rural properties, transitional land, recreational lifestyle properties, something legacy ranches. Mm-hmm. There are many different reasons why someone would need a realtor. In my world, there are a lot of things involved in rural land and farms and ranches. And depending on what your use is, if you want an equestrian property, there's a lot of things you need to know about that. And if you've never had a rural equestrian property, you're coming from a barn, you want to buy your own place, you need to know how to set that up, you need to know how your paddocks and turnouts need to be, you need to know which way your loafing sheds should face and not face, and where your barns are, and where your water needs to be. There's just so much, right?
Right.
And on all these rural properties, we have water rights, we have mineral estates, right? We have wind rights. There's just so many things. There are easements, there are pipelines, there are transmission lines, things that a residential realtor doesn't deal with, and that a new buyer to rural property isn't even cognizant that this is something they need to know and be aware of, right? Plus, we know the areas, and we know, okay, this isn't good soil for horses. And what is it you want? It's really about connecting the person, the buyer, if I'm working with a buyer, with the right property. And what are their goals? Tell me what your priorities are. Put them in order for me. And if it's a seller, then I need to understand that property and know that property almost as well as that owner does, so that I can showcase it and present it to potential buyers so that it absolutely shows its best.
You have way more, I guess, hoops to jump through, or whatever you want to call it, oversight here than we do in Oklahoma. But I mean, someone could wind up with a property that was represented by someone that didn't know what they were doing, or just a for sale by owner or something like that.
Yes.
Think they got a good deal, but not be able to use it for what they bought it for.
It's true.
And here you are stuck with something.
I know, that would be terrible, but it happens.
Yeah.
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 It
So
does.
that's a big deal. How
Yeah.
long have you been in business?
42 years.
42
Yes,
years. So you've seen a few things.
I've seen a lot of changes. I can remember, I worked for my dad initially. He was a farm and ranch broker in North Texas. He was a retired career military officer, and he had a ranch in North Texas. So he became, and had cattle always, and he raised Charolais cattle, and he was a farm and ranch broker. And I remember when you would go to the stationery store, you would buy your one-page contract with a piece of carbon paper and you would write it out on the hood of your truck.
Yeah.
My first real estate license in Texas, the study book was, I don't know, 20 pages.
Oh, wow.
And now we have how many hours?
Yeah.
And so, oh yeah, but Texas is probably the toughest licensure state. I've been a licensed broker in New Mexico and Colorado as well.
Oh, I didn't know
I
that.
had a business in Colorado for 15 years and enjoyed doing that. But it's just, yeah, it's changed a lot.
So did you live in New Mexico too? I know you lived in Colorado. Or
I did. I lived in New Mexico. I had a place. I had a place in Texas, but I had a place in northern New Mexico, and I was there for 7 years. I loved it. It was beautiful, just beautiful country.
Wow. I learned something about you every time I come down here.
And moved from there to Colorado.
Yeah.
And then came home to Texas in 2005.
And I had Jamie on here yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get everybody together. I mean, while we're together down here, I'm taking advantage of that. But I had her on. Her husband Tate works for you. Is that right? You're a broker, and he's an agent.
He's one of my fabulous agents.
Yeah.
One of my colleagues.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think you might have interviewed Matthew.
Yes, Matthew.
And Matthew's one of my great colleagues also.
Yeah, yeah. So you've got some really good people.
Oh, we are a very small boutique company on purpose. We have no goal to be a listing mill. I don't care to see my sign in everybody's yard, right? But I am very, very serious about my agents being educated and knowledgeable in what we do. And with Matthew and Lawrence, for instance, I mean, they both are amazing ranchers and farmers on thousands of acres. They both have highly productive hay operations. Matthew does all of the, rotational grazing and regenerative agriculture practices. It's fascinating what he does. And Lawrence is just brilliant with his farming operation and his hay, and it's, I have a good group of people.
Yeah.
And then one of my dearest friends that I've been friends with for over 50 years, Chris, is so knowledgeable with the equestrian properties also. We live what we sell.
Absolutely.
Right. And
yeah.
so she and her husband have always been huge into the equine business, and so she's really knowledgeable on that. So.
Yeah, yeah. That's something that I had never. I mean, I was born in the country, and we didn't hardly ever get to town, and so there wasn't a lot of social. There wasn't any social activities with my growing up. You raised on a farm. You went outside, and you did chores basically. Your dad would give you a list of stuff to do.
Right.
But what I've learned, or what I've noticed about you guys, is y'all network. I mean, y'all have a group of people, and people, and like I can call you from Oklahoma and say, hey, I need somebody to talk to about this, and you'll give me a name or two and their phone number. How important is that?
So important. Oh my goodness. And it's something, so there are a couple of major groups, and it's the organizations to which we belong that are really critical in our business. And I will say the farm and ranch business is extremely helpful. The peers that I have cultivated and become friends with over many years. So there's the Realtors Land Institute, which is a national organization, and almost every state has a chapter of the Realtors Land Institute. And I've been president of the Colorado chapter and the Texas chapter in the past, and it's all farm and ranch, transitional land, all amazing land brokers and agents. Then in Texas, we have the Texas Alliance of Land Brokers, and that's a group of just amazing peers. I have never not picked up the phone and asked a question that I didn't get incredible help. I have a friend in Northeast Texas, and I needed to know more about Section 180, IRS Section 180 on nutrient depreciation, and I called my friend in Northeast Texas, Rusty Lowe, and I said, tell me about this. And he said, Deitra, I sell so many ranches for nothing but the depreciation aspect that'll have $10 million of depreciation, and that's why my buyers buy it. And I got an education.
Sure.
And so everyone's helpful. And I always give out recipes, and I always give out any knowledge that I maybe have for someone. It's just, it always comes around.
I think that's what makes it so fun coming down here and being around you, because and the whole group basically is that
Yeah.
way. I think everybody tries to help each other.
Our tribe is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. That's and again, I wasn't raised with that, so I had to adjust to that. The first year, I kind of sat back with my arms crossed, like, okay, I paid to be here. What are you gonna do for me?
Right.
And y'all just treated me kindly anyway.
Well, I'll say this, you adapted beautifully, and you're one of the most giving persons we all know. So.
Well, thank you. Well, I just wanted to come by and introduce people to you on this podcast and kind of tell them a little bit about your life, and I think we covered a pretty good amount of ground here.
Great, thank you.
What's on the horizon for you? I mean, where do you go from here? You're still really young. You've only been in real estate business for 42 years. So.
Right, and that's something for somebody only 36, right?
I know it. That's pretty impressive.
You know, Brett, I have no idea. I turn my life over to God, and it's like every single day I go, I feel 50, I choose happy, just point my feet, God, in the direction I'm supposed to go, and I just am trying to take everything day by day.
I shouldn't be surprised, but that's been a theme with everyone that I've interviewed down here, is that pretty much really enjoy what you do.
Yes.
That's important, isn't it?
It's so important. And I love being here. I've got my 4 dogs, and, I really, you know me. I mean, I'm up between 4 and 4:30 every morning, and I am the one that never goes out with y'all at night because I'm in bed. But that's, it's all great. My life is wonderful.
And you stay up from being at 4:30 in the morning because you were the person that invented the horseshoe that stands up in the pot of coffee.
My coffee requires a prescription.
Exactly.
Bill always said it will bring grown cowboys to their knees.
Yeah. I can handle espresso, but I can't handle your coffee. Hey, thanks for sitting down with me.
Thank you, Brett.
And thanks
it was
for
a
hosting
pleasure.
this deal. It's been really good for me, for sure.
So good.
I appreciate you.
Love
Thanks,
that.
Deitra.
You're a dear friend.
All right, man. What'd you think? I mean, she's something else, isn't she?
She's great. She just seems like the type of person that you could be friends with really easily and want to be friends with, which makes sense how there's this through line of connection and community in her story and the way that she talks about what's important to her, along with horses, of course, are obviously really important to her also.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, what'd she say? If one person goes out her gate or one horse goes out her gate and they're better because they come there, then she's done what she wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's how she lives. I mean, I did the story I told about in the interview about meeting her, the way I met her and calling her on the phone, and she's, oh, come on down, you'll love it. And I was like, I'd never really been around someone like that, because we're kind of, I don't know, just guarded, maybe like, I don't really know you, let's kind of make sure you're a good fit or whatever. But she's like, no, come on.
That's a really good point. I just recently in the last year met someone like that that's very inviting, door always open. I have dinner every night between 5:30 and 6:30. You don't even have to call, come over.
Yeah.
And I didn't grow up like that. And I think part of it is being guarded, but part of it's also just being busy and being like kind of in your own world. But these connectors, like Deitra and this other friend that I've met, they're really special and important to community, like integral for all of, especially the rest of us that don't naturally do it.
Exactly.
Or haven't been taught how to do it. And I've even witnessed it now, and you have with her, obviously, and I still don't find it to be a natural response of mine.
No, it's learned, I think. You have to learn it. And how do you feel when you go to that person's house? I mean, at Deitra's, you're like, you just feel like you're at home. Like you don't feel like you're going into someone else's house.
Right.
I don't feel funny about going to the fridge and grabbing something out. Or she'll say, hey, do you want to cook this? Or we're having this, do you want to? Because she likes, I mean, she cooks and she makes a lot of cool dishes.
Yeah.
But she'll just turn her kitchen over to whoever happens to be in there.
Oh yeah, I feel comfortable whenever I go to their house, but also I think the little bit I've heard from you, Deitra's the same way. They do little things, like they recognize that they kind of made a joke about the fact that I like ginger ale, But then the next time I come over, and every single time I'm there, they have it in their pantry.
Yep.
And nobody in their house drinks it
Yep.
but me. And it's like, it probably cost them $5, but to me, it was like a shock to the system, because I was like, not only am I welcome here, I'm invited here,
Yeah.
I'm known here. It's incredible.
They're good at hospitality.
Yeah.
And they make us better for being around them. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a legacy.
Yes, it is.
That's
Very
really
much
cool.
is.
Yeah.
She said, I turn my life over to God. Every single day, I just ask him to point my feet in the direction I'm supposed to go. That was at the very end, and it just hit me because it's simple. It's the surrender of it is not easy to do,
Yeah.
but it looks like she's a living example of what your life can look like when you truly do that.
Sure. And she lives that. And I have some stories, because I've known her for 6 years now, that I'm not going to share because she didn't share them. You would be amazed at some of the stuff that woman has done. And that's just how she is. She doesn't even think it's any big deal at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, people, you hear about it, they talk about it, and you're like, oh yeah, that's Deitra. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I think the one thing I'm taking away is just getting involved. Since I'm not naturally good at just inviting and inserting myself and doing all that, maybe getting involved in some organizations that are related to the things that I either work in or am interested in.
For sure.
It sounds like that is like a really good first step as far as like tangible, practical life application advice.
She goes to a lot of those meetings, and she's been past president. I think she put that on there as well. And she knows everyone. I've called her I don't know how many times when I do a little bit of real estate. I've got a really good broker. If she was a broker in Oklahoma, I'd go with her in a heartbeat, just because we're such a good fit. But she's always just quick to. I learned that about responding to people. Like if I text her or call her and say, hey, do you have any covenants on like 10 acres that we really want to deed restrict so that there's not, marijuana grows or something like that, and she'll go, yeah, I got that. Let's see, it's going to be a little bit odd. You'll have to change a few things, but probably you don't even need to take it to an attorney, because it was all drawn up by an attorney, and you can just change the wording a little bit. So look it over and see what you think. And in about 5 minutes, I'll get a text that says, just emailed it to you. It doesn't matter when I call her or what. And I'm like, okay, that's really good. Like I need to up my game a little bit and the text ahead of the email, because I don't check my email all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was something that I wanted, that I needed.
Yeah.
And she's done that countless times.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I'm good at that. But that is incredible to have that just in your personal life, but also what does that teach us about, I'm sure you get from that, oh, I feel this way when she does that, so I want to act more like that and treat people like that in my life.
What I've observed with her and the few times that I've done it that way is it simplifies her life. She doesn't have to remember a lot of stuff. She doesn't have to write something down. She's like, you call and say, hey, Brad, I need this. If I just take 5 minutes, because usually it doesn't really take as long as we think,
and
give that to you and say sent. That's all I have to do.
Yeah.
And then I can forget that. I don't have to think about that anymore. But if I don't do it if you call me at 8 and I don't do it until 5 o'clock, it's running in the back of my head all day long.
That's so true. I'm guilty of that. I'm so guilty of that.
Yeah. Well, when you get to be my age, you're like, no.
We don't need background. We don't need extra. It's funny that you said you like the text before the email or with the email. I like that too, because I try not to live in my email, and I try not to keep a bunch of notifications on my phone because I'm easily distracted.
Yep.
But I just talked to someone last week that said they cannot stand that, but they have all the notifications on their phone.
Yeah.
They're constantly looking at them. So it's interesting because we learn, hey, we like that, we recognize it, we want to do it more like that, and then somebody else is different and they prefer a different way of doing it. But I definitely think the extra communication is never really a bad thing.
Yeah, and we're getting maybe a little bit off subject here, but I had a smartwatch for a while, and I got like it would bring you every notification on that come, and that just drove me nuts.
It's too much.
And I quit the smartwatch. Like, I got a dumb one, and it'll tell me if I get a text message, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so that's way better for me.
Yeah.
I don't want 27 alerts while I'm trying to get something done.
I don't think we're made to be interrupted that much.
Yeah.
And we already are because of how connected we are. But yeah, that's cool that she responds that quickly.
Yeah. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that podcast. We will plan to get one of these out once a month. But man, I hope you got something out of that, because in my opinion, she is a prize.
Yeah, I hope you'll have her back on.
Yeah, we might.
Later in the future, because I just know there's more to learn from her.
Yeah. You've got a lot of people on your list now that you need to meet, so you'll have to come with me sometime.
Yes, that's true. Very cool. Thanks for bringing her on.
You bet. All right, we'll wrap it up with that.
Okay.
See you next time.